Hi, it's Dr. Dave Candy, and welcome to our weekly Friday Fix. Welcome to part 2 of doing yard work to prepare for the winter. I'm actually bringing in our pots, bringing in some plants so that they don't freeze over the winter. These ones are actually dead, so just bringing in the soil. And I started carrying up this hill that we have in the back. We've actually got some pretty large pots, and just being lazy, not wanting to make multiple trips, I was picking up 2 of these pots, carrying them up the hill, got halfway up and realized this is dumb. This is working much harder than I have to. So ideally, work smarter, not harder. Take 2 trips, even though it may take you a little longer. It's a lot less hassle and it's a lot less time out of your schedule than if you do hurt yourself. So break it up into smaller trips. If you do have a heavy load that is just too much for you to manage, if you've got a neighbor or a spouse or a child or someone that can help you out and carry that larger load for you, ask them to do it or ask for help so that there are 2 of you working together and neither of you gets hurt. Now, the way to lift, we talked about this a little bit with bending last week, but it becomes even more important when you're lifting a heavy load, is to start out with your spine in a neutral position, rolling your pelvis under, pushing your hips back and bending forward, grabbing the load, then pushing your hips back into it as you come back up, keeping it close to your body. So you're almost thinking about dragging the pot or whatever it is you're lifting up your body. So we'll show a front and a side view here. Get close to it so your legs are actually touching it or straddling it if it's narrow enough that you can do that. Get it as close to your center of gravity as possible. Push your hips back and lean your trunk forward so you keep your center of gravity over the middle of the pot and everything's lined up right over the center of gravity. Lift from the bottom if you need to. If you can come from the top, that's actually much less load. So if there's a handle to grip on, that's going to be a lot easier for you to do that than it is to come underneath and lift from there. Sometimes it has to be done, but if you do have anything to grip onto, it's going to lessen the load by quite a bit. The technique that you use to bend actually has less to do with back injuries and how much strain there is on your back than if you lift from a low position versus a high position. So lifting higher up, starting with the pot on something if you can, gripping up higher on the pot, or not lifting from the bottom of it can be helpful. To give a side view of that same thing, you come close to it, get around it if you can. If not, just get as close to it as you can. Start with your spine in neutral position, push your hips back, reach down and grip as high as you are able to, and then push your hips back underneath of you. And you actually want to keep your spine rounded. You don't want to come up like that, lifting with your legs like a lot of people think, where you're lifting like this, because your back muscles are working to keep you in an arch. Rather, you push your hips back, allow your spine to bend. You're actually tensing your abdominal muscles and your glute muscles, and those are what are doing the work to push your hips back underneath, and then only at the top do you fully come up and kind of roll your pelvis back underneath of you. So hips back going down, hips forward coming up. Those are just some tips to help you with carrying things during yard work or other household tasks. Enjoy your Friday and have a great weekend.